Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You've signed on for a very special edition of the King's Castle.
Cheers.
I'm King James. I'll be your host for the next hour of entertainment news, wrestling news, and
Where we're going? 2 hours.
I was getting to that, but hold on. Anyway, here to help me as always is the always reliable, but always on point, Mr. Blair Chopin.
Oh, that was very nice.
Good evening,
you're
Mr.
getting nicer in almost 2017.
Good evening, Mr. Chopin, and Happy
Good
New
evening.
Year.
Happy New Year to you, James.
Now, I've got a question for you viewers. Are you wide awake? You're not. Well then, you are now, because you're going to have to stay awake with us for a long time. And you know why, Blair?
I was not expecting that.
Well, you know why they're going to have to stay wide awake? Wide awake?
Tell me, James. Why do they have to stay wide awake?
Because we are webcasting to you tonight live until midnight so that we can count down with the clock, just like they do in New York, to ring in 2017, because this is the King's Castle's Slammin' New Year Spectacular!
Presented by Nokia.
But before we get on into the retrospective about the year, we've got some unfinished business to attend to from last Thursday's show. Because I neglected to mention during our wrestling talk that animal known as Goldberg is coming back to Raw.
Hashtag the man.
As of this Monday night. Now, as we know, Goldberg is scheduled to appear in the 2017 Royal Rumble. And we also know that Brock Lesnar is in the match as well. So my question to you, Blair, very simply is this. How much do you want to bet that Brock Lesnar shows up in Tampa as well?
I mean, I really want to bet against it.
Me either.
My answer is $0. I would not bet any money on that because I think Brock Lesnar is going to be involved.
Now, here's the thing you need to consider.
Because Brock Lesnar needs to make money. My man is suspended from the UFC in mixed martial arts.
But here's the only thing that concerns me. We know that leading into the Royal Rumble, Goldberg is now 2-0 against the Beast.
2-0, right?
But all the wrestling news sources that I've been following, specifically Wrestle Talk News, shout out to Ollie Davis.
Wow, big shout out.
They say that apparently the storyline between Goldberg and Brock is booked this time so that they're going to square off at WrestleMania.
Ooh.
And Lesnar will finally get a win. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that would make sense. Because we talked about wrestling traditions before. So they had to set this up to where it was a rematch-worthy thing. And it makes sense when the wrestler's on his way out that he loses his last match. And if that were the case for Goldberg, then it would make the case for him to lose. My only qualm with that is Goldberg's reputation has been kind of based on invincibility, right?
Right.
He had the shriek in WCW. He beat Lesnar and quicker than Ronda Rousey got knocked out, almost, last night. So, would it be more fitting to Goldberg to be sent out with a win, even though that defies kind of wrestling tradition?
Well, it might be, but...
Or are we even sure he's going to go after WrestleMania at all?
But I have a quick question. I know it may be a little early to pick sides here, but...
I have a question, off-topic question.
Okay.
Does any man put on more makeup than Ryan Seacrest?
I don't know.
Probably yes, but he puts on a lot of makeup.
But anyway,
go on with your question.
Anyway, since we're clearly speculating that Goldberg and Lesnar are more after each other as opposed to after the title shot, well, I know it's a little early, but give me a pick for Raw or SmackDown. Who do you think has the best chance of winning the Royal Rumble this year?
Well, I could see this going both ways, right? I could see Raw, they want the more established brand. Raw's more popular, we know that.
Right.
More watched. So they would want the more established brand to head them into WrestleMania. Or they would want to build SmackDown's credibility more. Make that more of a hot product and have that be the winner going into WrestleMania.
But let me ask you this. over the past few months. Haven't they already done that by drafting people like Cena and Orton?
For SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhat, but I mean, they could always use a boost.
Could be. But
that's like telling someone, oh, you already made this much money. Do you really need to make more money? Of course they're going to say yes.
True.
You always want more of something good.
But, the funny thing about the Rumble is it's always unpredictable except for one thing.
What's that?
On rare occasions, we actually have been known to figure out who the number one entry is before the match even happens.
Right.
Because we've seen that with Shawn Michaels. He volunteered on a few occasions. But then we've seen people like the late Chris Benoit and Roman Reigns, who during some of their Rumble appearances were forced to go in an early number due to a stipulation in the contract.
Right.
So, I really think it's too early to pick. But if I had to choose someone who I think
it's gonna be Goldberg, honestly.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you,
I think that'd be a great plot.
It could, but this is going to surprise you. If I had to pick someone this early on who I think has the best chance of winning the Royal Rumble, I would say it would probably have to come from SmackDown. And my pick to win the Royal Rumble this year is the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt, okay.
Because I think they're trying to boost his leadership as a heel.
Right.
When they brought Randy Orton into the family, so it makes sense that Orton, Harper, and Wyatt would team up during the match, and then end up turning on each other, and then Bray would probably force those two to eliminate themselves.
Okay.
If it makes any sense. But we'll have to see what happens. And by the way, you can see the Royal Rumble January 29th live on pay-per-view and the WWE Network. So make sure you check that out. But, like I said, this is actually a retrospective show. So when we come back, we're gonna break down our thoughts on the year, including our picks for the best moments of 2016 from both sides. And we're going to talk about some of our favorite moments from the entertainment world as well. So stay right there.
Stay there. If I just lay here.
Very funny.